You know, I had always been a shy kid. And like I said, I learned early on that the girls like the guys that worked out. And I was always, I'm not the tallest. I'm maybe 5'8", or now at this point, I'm 5'7", because over the years, gravity robbed me of an inch. So I'm 5'7" now. Anyway, I was a underdeveloped kid in high school. And I was like, fuck, like I like girls, and how can I get their attention? So I learned again early on that girls like guys that worked out. So I started doing that. Eventually got into that scene. And if uh, there was a guy I knew, a promoter in the Jersey area, and he promoted these ladies' nights. Uh, and it's a simple thing. You go to a club and you go, hey, you guys do your, throughout your week, women's or Wednesdays are typically ladies' nights. Isn't that pretty much Wednesday? If I
Yeah, I know.
remember
Yeah,
correctly.
yeah.
So if I had to remember, so Wednesday, what he would do is he'd go into a club and say, "Hey, I got this show. It's like a hottest body show of guys taking their shirts off and doing this little strip thing, and it's a great way to get the girls to come in. And when you get the girls to come in, you're golden, because when the show's over, you got a bunch of guys off the street that been waiting, like, oh, they're ready to go in, and they're all primed up, and it's a pretty win-win situation.
Where the girls are, the guys follow.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So that was the
yeah.
nature of this cat's promoting, and the clubs, they all jumped on and said, yeah, we'll do it. And, it was a simple thing. You give us a couple hours, 2, 3, 4 hours early in the Wednesday, and then it segues into a bunch of dudes getting all fired up to meet these girls that have been watching these other dudes dance or whatever. So that was basically the nature of it. And then I knew a promoter, and he said, you should do it. And this was back then. I was just I was like, I don't know, if I could do this or not. But eventually I knew, in order for me to follow that path, I had to throw myself to the wolves. You got to get out there, and whatever it is that you want to do, it's going to be nerve wracking and a little, intimidating or whatnot. And in this case, it was getting up on stage. Maybe it's public speaking or playing a musician and playing an instrument in a band. In this case, it was dancing and take your shirt and tie, your bottoms off or whatever, and leave this little, Speedo type thing on. So he said, you should do it. And I said, wow. And eventually I brought myself to do it. And that was good, because I met a gentleman there who was also in the hot body contest. I lost, but I met this guy. He said, you got a good look. You should, I'm in the circuit. He was from the North. I think he was from North Jersey, New York area. And any of the gentlemen that did that, were also modeling and trying to become actors. One guy did, As the World Turned, and all these, so any type of media that you could get in, like Playgirl magazine, that was a big thing, because if you were in that, then, that's what the MC says. This next guy, you may have seen him grace the pages of Playgirl magazine or whatnot, and once you kind of got that as an accolade, or whatever you want to call that, the women were just woohoo, even more than just a guy who was like, this next guy's never really been anywhere.
Instant credibility.
Or he was a calendar guy for this, and he was on, this soap opera, and, so so anyway, I met this guy, and we kind of, hey man, what's up? You got a good look. And if you ever want to do this, I know this, there's a circuit. It's kind of like imagine all the clubs in Jersey and New York and Delaware, and that have these ladies' nights, right? Similar to what the girls did. There was a, these girls had a wet t-shirt contest, similar type thing. But now I guess it was new to the world that guys would get up there and strut their stuff, so to speak. So that's how I got into that. And then from that day on, I got connected with this guy, Donnie, and he introduced me to this club owner and that place and this and that. And the next thing you know, I'm dancing regularly a couple of times a week for this group here and that thing over there. And I finally broke out of that shell that I was in of being scared to death.
Was it an instant thing, like the first time you danced, or did it take a few times doing it to really?
No, it was pretty instant. I was like, wait, what? I made a few bucks. I'd look down and I got all this money in my briefs, it's just, and thought, this is not too bad. It's not so bad, right?